peace. We are back in the building, everybody. Appreciate you. This is Dear Woke Christian. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what we're about to do. We're going to get at it today. Got a fun live for you. Not really necessarily fun. I shouldn't use that term fun. I have an interesting live for you today because I wanted to discuss a particular topic that's been going on here in Atlanta. I know I call it As the Peach Rots. I think this should be season 3 of As the Peach Rots. I know I'm gonna have to reach out to my people and get my get an intro for that, because this one right here is just wild. So you may not have heard yesterday, a Georgia state lawmaker, Representative Mesha Mainor, she filed a lawsuit against Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, as well as the Fulton County Commissioner, Marvin Arrington Jr. We talked about them a day and a half ago, alleging that they were involved in misconduct and negligence in handling her stalker case. And it's pretty sad to hear the case that what she had to endure. I don't think that any woman should have to tolerate that type of shenanigans. So when you hear that a woman did not cover and protect another woman, it does kind of leave you to what's the big deal? I mean, what's going on? Why can't you handle this? So let me set the stage. So Representative Mesha Mainor claims that an alleged stalker who was like a volunteer on her campaign, her initial campaign in 2019, the person began stalking her after she fired him for his aggressive behavior in the campaign office, I believe. Now, despite getting a protective order, the guy still violated that. He got involved, ended up getting arrested for aggravated stalking and so on and so forth. But it does get a little bit murky here. Now, and I'm going to let Mesha Mainor actually explain it out, because we're going to look at her press conference from yesterday. Mainor says that the commissioner, who is Marvin Arrington Jr., who happened to be his attorney, used his influence to secure a lighter sentence for the stalker through a plea deal with whom? Fani Willis, before Fani Willis took office as DA. Now, let's keep it going. Now, when Willis became DA, District Attorney of Fulton County, Mainor claims that she showed favoritism toward Arrington, allowing the stalker to get away with a lighter sentencing. And we watched that the other day. He got basically a month in jail after serving 10 months. Ultimately assaulted, and he ultimately ended up assaulting her in, I think, 2021, so almost 3 years ago. Now, this is where the lawsuit comes in. So it alleges that both Willis as well as Arrington are complicit in allowing this man to be free, allowing this man to be overlooked by the system, and to continue to stalk and endanger Representative Mainor and her children. Now, let's keep it going. Now, Arrington and Willis, of course, they fire back. They say that Mainor's claims are baseless, they're contradictory, and so on and so forth. I think that Willis claims that though the evidence hasn't been seen and they haven't been served lawsuits yet, that they were confident that they're nonsensical, they're baseless, and a waste of time. And that's basically where we are. So yesterday, Mesha Mainor had a press conference in the Georgia State Capitol, and I thought it was really good. I was a little bit disappointed, and I'll tell you why. I thought Mesha Mainor's portion was really good, and she had three people who came up and gave impact statements, basically showing how Fani Willis has not been taking care of the basic duties here in Fulton County. There's a dad whose son has been in jail, not charged yet, but just in jail for 5 years. That's crazy. That's 60 months, man. That's insane. So he came up and gave a witness impact statement. There's a young lady, her name is L.A. Pink, I think, and she gave an impact statement about what's going on with the homeless population on the streets. And then lastly, a young man who was a victim of a crime but ended up being charged for said crime, even got a felony charge and ended up being fired and all kinds of stuff like that. And he cannot get any kind of remedy. So those three people there at the end of Mesha's press conference, they gave their impact statements. I thought they were very compelling. The only reason I cut them out is because for whatever reason, the newscast that I had, the last portion of the impact statements was cut off, and I couldn't find the full thing. And it just ended like on a very low crescendo. And I was like, wait, this is crazy. So it almost ruined it. So I just pulled up Mesha Mainor's. I thought it would be helpful for us today, just to look at it. And we've talked about this before. This is some of the corruption that goes on in Fulton County and here in Georgia. It is kind of sad to see this kind of stuff going on, because this is a Black woman that is pleading to another Black woman to provide her the proper service and justice that she's looking for, and she's not getting it. So I thought it was pretty wild, and I just want to bring that in. I'm sorry, Shara. I'm sorry. I have a recording at the studio at 11. I'm trying to get done. Oh, Shara, come on. Can we still be friends, though? All right, let's pull this in. We're going to talk about it real quick. So did we do it right, Jason? Let's see if we did it right. We did not do it right. We did not do it right. All right, let's try that again. Where is it? I'll tell you, man. This is that part where we got to cut that out. All right, here we go. Right here.
Commission is evident due to the actions of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office.
All right, so this is from yesterday, and again, I thought this was a really interesting press conference. If you're interested in all of this kind of stuff, especially victim advocacy, I thought this was really insightful. So let's let her tease it out. She explains her story again, kind of like she did on the Judge Joe Brown video. And so let's let her do that. Let's go.
Commission is evident due to the actions of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. My lawsuit against Fani Willis, Marvin Arrington, and the Fulton County Ethics Board stems from this necessity. Stalking, often misunderstood, involves repeated, unwanted behavior causing fear or distress. It's a serious issue affecting millions annually, with most victims knowing they're stalkers. The Netflix documentary, Can I Tell You a Secret?, sheds light on this issue. Stalking behaviors include harassment, intimidation, and even violence. Despite its prevalence, misconceptions persist, hindering support for victims. Stalkers exploit various tactics, from relentless calls to spreading rumors. They often target former partners and engage in something called proxy stalking, which involves third parties. Victims endure emotional trauma, and the risk of violence is significant, especially with intimate partner stalkers. The failure to address stalking perpetuates the cycle of abuse, highlighting the importance of legal measures like the Prosecuting Attorneys Qualification Commission, or PAC. It's crucial to support victims and hold accountable those who neglect their duties, ensuring justice for everyone. Stalking is repetitive. Stalkers create a pattern of repeated unwanted attention and contact towards a person. It's an obsession I don't believe they themselves even realize. Their focus is unrelenting towards the victim. A stalker harasses and intimidates a person over and over without ceasing. Examples of stalking are showing up at someone's home or their job uninvited. If Fani Willis investigated my case, she would have spoken to my secretary at the Emory Healthcare, who would have shared with her, my stalker repeatedly came to my job to harass me. Repeatedly calling victims at unreasonable amount of times. It could be up to 50 times a day, but they'll make up excuses or lie as to why they had to call you 50 times. Stalkers will cash app you money unsolicited, and you have to block them from sending you money. Stalkers will repeat.
I don't know. That is crazy. That is wild. Hold on one second. Yeah, that's wild that they would send money. Man, that's crazy. But the 50 calls was just, that's lunacy right there. Yeah, so let's keep this rolling. Let's go.
Wait for you at your car and surprise you with the "I was just in the area." Stalkers will also call you from other people's numbers once you block them. Stalkers will leave threatening voicemails on your phone, vacillating between thoughts of undying love and hate if you do not call them back. They'll send you letters to their victim's job in an effort to try to get them fired. They will try to blackmail you. They file motions to appeal their restraining order because they truly believe they are not a stalker. Stalkers get other unknowing and knowing third parties to harass and intimidate you. Proxy stalking. Stalkers will stalk former spouses, friends, sexual partners, or people they sexually assaulted. They spread rumors about their victims, and they do everything they can to belittle and humiliate their victims. Once they realize they can't have you, disgust for their victims sets in, and they try to destroy the person's life. When people repeat rumors they heard from a stalker, they are unknowingly participating in stalking the victim. There are approximately 13.5 million victims of stalking in the United States every year, and I want to give you a few stats.
All right, so before we get too far, I see a couple comments, please forgive me. Tawanda says, and put that right there. Tawanda says, you have to have a strong back to deal with people in the government. I'm praying for this young lady. Absolutely. And Independent Male, shout out to Independent Male. Good to see you, brother. Grace and peace. He says, hey, I was just in the area. So I appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you for hollering at your guy. I appreciate you. All right. So she's laying out the case of what stalking is, how they go about it, so on and so forth, which I think is helpful. And then she's going to explain how she feels that Fani and Marvin Arrington dropped the ball, so to speak, and how they support her. So let's go.
67% know the person stalking them. They aren't strangers, as most believe. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men are stalked. 16% of transgender people, 9% know their stalker from work. 75% receive unwanted calls. 57% have their stalker show up unexpectedly. 52% are surveillance. 40% are targeted by intimate partners. They threaten to share intimate images of their victims. 74% of former intimate stalkers report violence. 1 in 5 use weapons to threaten or harm their victims. It increases for intimate partners by 3-fold to make it a fatality. 22% of them will post inappropriate things and personal information of their victims online. Some common misconceptions. They're strangers. They're not. They will eventually stop. If you ignore it, they will stop. Online stalking is not as bad as physical stalking. For those listening, there's a 24/7 National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is 1-800-799-SAFE or 7233. There's also a 24/7 National Sexual Assault Hotline, 1-800-656-HOPE. Victims of domestic violence and stalking deserve to be heard, especially when faced with reluctance from authorities like the District Attorney, Fani Willis. The fear and anxiety victims endure are compounded by the constant vigilance required to protect themselves. In my own experience seeking justice from Fulton County DA Fani Willis, I discovered concerning actions that were brought to my attention from an investigative reporter. It revealed...
All right, so here, I think she's done a fantastic job of laying out what were the problems and what are the statistics and remedies, if you will. And now she's getting into the weeds of her own particular case, which I think is really compelling. Pay attention to, they were wild, man. Again, this is all allegedly, but my goodness, in the morning, they were wild. Watch this.
Between my stalker, aided by Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington, who also served as my stalker's personal attorney. This conflict of interest is alarming as it compromises the very justice system meant to protect victims. Despite presenting numerous witnesses, DA Willis did not interview one single witness. Over 20 were presented, including my pastor after he joined my church.
Yeah, her stalker actually joined her church. That's wild. Look, that's wild. That's wild. That's insane. Yo, that is craziness. Thank y'all so much, everybody who stopped by this morning. I really do appreciate Queen Fab and Costa Chameleon. Always good to see Shara. Y'all, we done got Q in the building as well. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. Independent Mail, as I said before, as well as Tawanda. I thank each and every one of you all for stopping by, checking it out. And give me your thoughts. You know, what do you think about Lady Mesha Mainor's complaint against Fani Willis and Marvin Arrington Jr.? What are your thoughts on it? Drop it in the chat. I appreciate it. Let's go.
This pattern of neglect and misconduct persisted, violating my rights under Marcy's law after she offered a plea deal without consenting me. The passage of the Prosecuting Attorney's Qualification Commission is a vital step towards accountability, providing recourse for citizens failed by the system.
This is actually, and a lot of people were asking about the bill and the commission that Governor Kemp here in Georgia recently signed. And that is it. It is the Prosecutors Action Committee. I'm sorry, I might butchered that a little bit. But what it is it gives us an opportunity as people to say, hey, the prosecutor in my county, the prosecutor in my jurisdiction is not doing his or her job properly. And again, like I said, there's a dad standing there who has a son that's been in Fulton County Jail for 5 years and hasn't actually been charged with anything. So that would be an example of her not doing her job. But let me go back and let her go.
Including my pastor after he joined my church. This pattern of neglect and misconduct persisted, violating my rights under Marcy's law after she offered a plea deal without consenting me. The passage of the Prosecuting Attorney's Qualification Commission is a vital step towards accountability, providing recourse for citizens failed by the system. Fulton County Commissioner Marvin Arrington chose to take a stalking case against a state representative, all while he oversees and appropriates funds to the DA's office. As a criminal defense attorney, Fulton Commissioner Marvin Arrington defends his clients in the same courtroom he appropriates and has unlimited access to the judges. DA Willis is charged to represent victims in Fulton County, the very people Commissioner Arrington's private clients seek to dismiss claims against. Two attorneys, family friends, law school classmates, opposing each other with one having the authority to chop up charges to benefit the other, and one with the authority to vehemently advocate for funding. A perfect storm for an unknowing victim. During jail calls, Commissioner Arrington and my stalker plotted various actions.
If anybody has access to the full jail calls, I've heard clips of them and they're not, I don't like the clips. I want the whole thing. If anybody has access to these jail calls that she mentions, they're pretty bad. Let me back up just a little smidge so you can get a chance. If anybody has access to them, dearwokec@gmail.com. I would love to hear them and use them in a discussion, because the bit I heard was pretty bad, but I need the context because I don't understand the context of what they were saying. But it just seemed like snippets on the local radio, local news. But let's let it go. Let's go.
Law school classmates opposing each other with one having the authority to chop up charges to benefit the other, and one with the authority to vehemently advocate for funding. A perfect storm for an unknowing victim. During jail calls, Commissioner Arrington and my stalker plotted various actions, including manipulating judges, leveraging political influence, and conversations that were had between Commissioner Arrington with Fani Willis before she was even sworn into office about my case. Commissioner Arrington discusses getting favors from the chief jailer of the Fulton County Jail on behalf of my stalker, and the criminal behavior of other elected officials, past and present, is discussed on these jail calls. Despite presenting numerous witnesses, DA Willis contacted no one. DA Willis and ADA Yolanda Mack admitted awareness of judges favoring Commissioner Arrington. She never fought for me as a victim, a Fulton County resident. She was always in the pocket of the commissioner and retaliated against me after I contacted the U.S. Department of Justice Office of Violence Against Women, because DA Willis repeatedly allowed my stalker to be released on bond for non-bondable crimes and failed to notify me of court proceedings repeatedly. She never mentioned to the court her conflict of interest and that she was discussing my case with her close family friend and my stalker's attorney, Commissioner Marvin Arrington, before she was even sworn into office. The Georgia Democrat Party's decision to grant a convicted felon previously jailed for 1 year for aggravated stalking, allowing him access to voter data poses a serious risk to every Fulton woman. Campaign software driven by GPS data exposes private information of registered voters without considering the implications of allowing unqualified individuals on the ballot. Today, accountability is paramount, especially with the Fulton County DA failing to assist citizens affected by domestic violence, stalking, or unjust incarceration. The establishment of PAC offers a crucial avenue of justice, addressing challenges faced by non-legal professionals in navigating complaints against misconduct. Recent legislative changes led by Commissioner Bob Ellis ensures that offices funded by Fulton County adhere to ethical standards, safeguarding the rights of citizens. The communities I represent are disproportionately affected by DA Willis's office, particularly those with underperforming schools. Despite laws mandating timely indictments, many languish in jail for months without resolution. Fulton County's jail stay average is 291 days. The national average is 30. 37% of inmates are unindicted in the jail. 3 people unindicted have sat in the jail longer than 2 years. This prolonged detention, often is overcrowded in overcrowded conditions, reflects a failure of justice and basic human rights.
This, in my opinion, I don't know if the people of Fulton County have the appetite to fire Fani Willis, but this right here, I think, is enough of a case for Fani to be removed for no other reason but because you're not doing your job. Now, they do have that Prosecutor's Accountability Council, so I do hope that now, Qualification Council, I hope now they're able to pull the trigger, if you will, or make the right decision and remove somebody who's not doing their job, because she's not doing the job. Somebody's been in jail for 200 some odd days. Some people have been in there longer than 3 years. And again, they got the dad there whose son has been in there for 5 years. He's the running record. And this jail is overcrowded. There's better than 1,000 people serving time in, maybe not 1,000, I apologize. It's definitely more than the complement that should actually be in the jail. So, I mean, that's a stress on resources. What is that doing to the safety of these people? And again, they haven't actually been, there are people in there who haven't been charged. She said 30% of the people in there haven't even been charged. So let's just say that there's 1,000 people in there. 30% of that would be 300 people that have not been charged. And you're overcrowded. So wouldn't you be undercrowded, or at least be better crowded, if you didn't have those 300 people there? I'm just saying. And this is crazy, though. Wild, for sure. All right, let's let her finish up.
Commission is evident
it started over again.
Of the Fulton County
no.
Against women. Because without considering the implications of allowing unqualified rights of citizens. The communities I represent are disproportionately affected by DA Willis's office, particularly those with underperforming schools. Despite laws mandating timely indictments, many languish in jail for months without resolution.
Sorry about that, y'all. Fulton
County's jail stay average is 291 days. The national average is 30. 37% of inmates are unindicted in the jail. 3 people unindicted have sat in the jail longer than 2 years. This prolonged detention, often is overcrowded conditions, reflects a failure of justice and basic human rights. It's imperative that the legal system upholds its duty to prosecute promptly or release detainees. Each person in the jail is someone's child, parent, sibling, or loved one. The Georgia General Assembly set clear guidelines for DA Willis, requiring her to indict individuals in custody within 90 days. Those arrested without bond must have their case presented to the grand jury within the same time frame. There are no exceptions to this law. If individuals have been incarcerated for over 90 days, while the DA takes extended vacations with her special prosecutor, it's a direct insult to Fulton County families and those in jail. Consider this: sleeping on the floor for 2 years without facing a judge is not justice. It's a glaring example of inhumane neglect, which the law is designed to rectify, either prosecute or release. The ACLU reported 503 unindicted inmates that were incarcerated at least 90 days. 447 were sleeping on the floor. DA Willis is required to notify a judge if a person remains in jail on felony charges without indictment for more than 45 days. Sheriff Labatt faces a significant challenge with his colleague neglecting her duties, leaving him to manage an overcrowded jail. If DA Willis addressed the backlog as requested, lives could have been saved.
Now, I am going to slightly disagree, and I've said this before. I think the sheriff, because the sheriff is responsible for the jail, the sheriff owns the lion's share of the responsibility of what's going on in the jail. So let's just say, for easy math, let's say he owns 75% of the problem. When the people come to the jail, he's responsible for them. I'm going to put 25% of that on Fani, because there are people in the jail and people coming into the jail that probably don't need to be there, that don't have an indictment. 90 days is expired. They've been there cooling their heels for entirely too long. If you're not going to indict them, then that needs to happen. But if you can't indict them because you're understaffed, then therein is a problem, because you've been spending money on other things that don't make sense. And I think that's where the problem comes in. So that's where I'm kind of conflicted, because I think both people are responsible for the jail. But I don't think the sheriff is responsible for the people that Fani arrests or that the DA isn't prosecuting. The sheriff is just responsible for holding them in jail. But I do think that they both share some level of responsibility on the quality of what's going on in the jail. And we did a video looking at, the contraband that's coming in and drone swipes and all this kind of stuff that are going on around the jail. So, I mean, there's a lot happening there, and there's a lot of foolishness to spread around. Let's just say it like that. All right, let's keep this going.
Everyone deserves justice. By the end of 2023, 90% of the people in custody were Black. This is not a time to give awards to people for failing to do their job. The Georgia General Assembly enacted a law mandating bail amounts to reflect a defendant's income. Excessive bonds can be rectified swiftly under these laws. Mismanagement in the DA's office shouldn't jeopardize someone's livelihood. Before I go to the next speaker, I want to say one last thing. DA Willis, backed by Commissioner Arrington, has spent millions prosecuting 2 celebrities. This allocation of funds adversely impacts the residents I represent. Standing up against political figures like Arrington and Willis is daunting. Living in a system that feels broken and corrupt and facing retaliation for protecting my family is disheartening. Yet I am supported by brave individuals that were not scared to stand next to me. There are also many brave individuals that have been contacting me about their stories. To those listening, don't hesitate to share your story. You have a community of supporters that will assist you. If you've been victimized by Commissioner Arrington or DA Willis, contact my office. Remember, victims should never blame themselves for things beyond their control. There's no excuse for anyone to violate, harass, intimidate, or stalk you. Trust your instincts and take steps to protect yourself.
All right, and the full video, and then she's going to go into some victim impact statements. Again, I think they were very compelling. The only problem is they cut off during the full broadcast. It was much longer, and it just kind of stopped, like just ended when they uploaded it. So I just didn't want to put them in there because I thought they were good, and I thought you would probably want to watch the whole thing. And it just cut off in the middle. So anyway, I put in the description, I put the link for this full clip so you can see the whole thing and you can watch it for yourself. I do think the victim impact was very powerful. I guess, again, there was a dad whose son has been in jail in the Fulton County Jail for 5 years. That was wild. There was a woman standing behind her, behind Representative Mainor, who represents the homeless population in Fulton County. And she has some really sad stories. I mean, it was pretty sad. And then there's a man that's standing next to her. He was a victim of assault, and by somehow or another, he ended up being charged for the assault, even though he has video evidence of him being assaulted, and ended up losing his job. It was crazy. So it's really sad to hear. And I just thought y'all would benefit from it. But go check it out down in the description. I'm going to check what's going on in the comments. Thank you so very much. We got 117 of y'all watching this. Thank you. If you find value in this, I really, really would appreciate you not only commenting and being a part of the best live chat on the whole interweb, but if you don't mind, hit the like button. Let me know that you appreciate what we got going on over here. Let us go. If you're talking about Sheriff Labatt is actually a black man. So, I mean, yeah. So I see a lot of comments. Okay. Somebody asked, when did this actually start? Mesha Mainor being stalked actually started in like 2018, 2019, because she was running for the commissioner role, the state representative role, please forgive me, that she's in now. So this is before she was elected. So the whole Marvin Arrington and the jailhouse, all that kind of stuff, that was before the infamous Fani Willis and Nathan Wade or Mesha Mainor switching from Democrat to Republican. All of this happened previously on As the Peach Rods. All right, let's go. There were some good comments in here, so let's get those going. Good to see K-Dub in the building. Thank you so much, Chris, for stopping by. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Good brother right there. All right. Oh, here's a question right there. It's Joseph Early. No, it didn't just start when she switched parties last year. So it started before then. Now, I do think, and she even mentioned the whole Prosecutors Accountability Qualification Act or whatever that is, commission. She even mentioned that would have come out sooner, but it just took longer for it to get the bill to get signed. That's why the bill was signed, it looks like a month ago or so like that. And a lot of people thought it was signed because of Fani Willis, but it had been in the works, in the system since 2019, 2020-ish. So that was it. All right, let's go right here. A servant's heart says they're too afraid they'll be accused of being racist and discriminating. BLM and DEI are a part to blame. If she's unqualified, then she's unqualified. All right. Yeah, it's been a rough 2024. And please understand, we're only in May. It's only 5 months in. We still got 7 months left. How is it? This year has been wild, to say the least. Now, I think this is interesting that she did this because now it's on record. If you remember when we watched Judge Joe Brown and he told her, like, make sure you put this out there. So this is now official. Now, everybody saw it. Everybody heard her say it. So it's not just a reporter, a newscaster, or a blogger that are interpreting what she said. She said it. So now it's out there. So I think this is a good move. I don't know what it's going to actually, if it's going to net the result that we would like, but, and these people being held accountable, but I do believe that it was a good move that she did. What's going on? Ricky Kid's in the building. Queen Fab is in the house. Kiana is running to a meeting. Good to see you. Yeah, see, this is part of the problem right here. This is a great point Richard made right here. $70,000, $700,000 was used in some way, shape, or form not to get these people prosecuted in the jail and not to get them moved out of the system. That is the problem, in my opinion. That's the part that's really going to stick. But I think David is saying, but isn't the sheriff, I think he's trying to say, doesn't the sheriff control the jail? If that's what you're saying, David, yes, the sheriff does control the jail. The problem is, if I were the prosecutor and I could just keep shoving people into the jail, you as a sheriff are going to have a hard time keeping control because I just keep busting people in and I don't even actually charge them. I don't actually indict them on anything. They don't have bond and stuff like that. So that is going to be a problem. All right. Yeah. I'm putting the blame on the sheriff for sure, Chris. Absolutely. It's just a matter of, but if the prosecutor finally keeps sending them in there with no, just filling them up, like it's like in school suspension. You just keep sending people in there with no homework. Send them in there with no projects. Send them in there with no referral slip. You're like, well, what am I supposed to be doing with all these people in school? Eventually, in school is going to turn into craziness. Do we still do in school? I don't think they still do in school nowadays. Yes, please listen to Servant's Art. Like this video. Please like the video. I appreciate it. Most people see that both of them are responsible. Not saying that one is more than the other. Well, I do think the sheriff is more responsible than Fani, but Fani does keep bringing people in there. Oh, thank you so much, Shara. Thank you so much. Buy your brother a coffee. Matter of fact, that's what I'm drinking today. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Okay. I don't know, Ricky. If Fani keeps sending people in to the jail that don't have a means to get out, like for example, if you go to jail, Ricky, for kicking gerbils and they're not giving you bond, they just arrest you, but you're not being charged. So you know that you have a court date and so forth. You're just sitting there cooling your heels. Why is that a political move? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. That's very possible, Ricky, that she might have timed it with the election, but it's also possible that she just got word on Monday, as she said, that her case, that her efforts to get accountability from from Fani Willis and Marvin Arrington were rejected. I mean, sure. She could run it with that, absolutely. But let's just be honest. Do you feel like they're doing their job in an effective manner? I think there's room for both of those things to be true. What's going on, Willie Doc in the building? My brother from the house. Good to see you, brother. Always good to see you. Election years are always crazy. And I think that's something we have to keep in mind as well. So I'm not saying that Lady Mainor is not doing it with some level of the election in the forefront. Not saying that she isn't. What I am saying, however, is election years are crazy. What's going on, Shar? Says, I watched this report yesterday and I was thinking of you. I am going to need to see something happen to Cash Money soon, or else will become Kamala's VP. That is crazy. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I don't know, but I thought, well, I'm glad you were thinking about me when you saw this, but I don't know how it's going to go, really. No, they don't age well. Willa Doc says, does Black church videos caping for Fani with her Black girl magic really not age well? No, they don't. Oh my goodness. David is saying no. I'm saying that someone higher is controlling him. He is the blame for some, but probably following orders. Okay. Okay. Look, I like a good conspiracy every now and then, you know. My hat's aligned with a little bit of tinfoil. So, okay. I can see that. I can work with you. I don't think that that is what is happening, but I can understand where you come from. How about that? Well, you hop off to a meeting. Queen Fab will be here when you get back. If not, check the replay. All right, let's see what we got here. Wait. Is it possible? Guacamole Kid says, is it possible that election fraud evidence will be entered into court in the Trump case in Georgia? I think I'm not 100%. I've told y'all, I don't even believe the Trump case is actually going to come to the case here in Georgia is ever even going to see the light of day. I just don't believe it. That being the case, I don't know how evidence is secured. Like, do you have to say, oh, well, you have to prove that this doesn't exist or whatever like that? I don't know how that works. So one of the things I'm trying to do is actually get more actual legal minds and not just the pre-K law student, trying to get more actual legal minds to bring them on the show so we can talk. I've talked to a few people and gotten some better ideas and understandings, but I would like to do that with actual people who actually understand what they're talking about and not just a pre-K law student that's using some basic comprehension skills. But I think that's a good question. I'm going to have to find out, though. All right. I think, Ricky, I don't think we're in disagreement, brother. I just don't think that, and I don't want to be contrary, but listen to what you're saying. Hate to be insensitive, but people go to jail usually for good cause, crime. That's no problem. But remember, I'm innocent until proven guilty. So if I'm innocent of a crime until proven guilty of crime, then shouldn't you charge me with the crime so that I can go in and prove that I'm innocent? But you're just saying leave me in jail indefinitely. That's what the problem is. But let's continue. They have the right to due process. Stop right there. If they have the right to due process and they're not being processed duly, we are on the same page. But don't do crime in the first place. I think that's a misnomer. You're assuming that the person did a crime. I don't know. You haven't proven to me that you've done the crime of kicking a gerbil. I don't know that. I'm just being told that Ricky is in jail because he kicked a gerbil. Okay, I hear what you're saying, but have you prosecuted the case that he should be in jail for kicking a gerbil? So if that be the case, I think this is a bad look, my guy. I'm sorry. And I respect your commentary, but the longer they sit in jail, someone is safe. Is that true? Is that true? I don't think that's a good look, bro. I wouldn't want to be on a situation where I'm putting people in jail to keep them safe. That's prison state. Following that logic, everybody should be in a jail cell, and everybody. I mean, we should have Minority Report. That would be, yeah. I'm gonna have to pass on that one, my guy. I know. I think you're a good brother. I think you really are making some solid points. You definitely push back, which is perfect. But that one right there is not a good look, my guy. Husband and I moved to Singapore from the U.S. 20 years ago. Kids born and raised here. 18-year-old is moving back this year. Is it a little sad that the America I grew up in is not the same now. Well, that is sad, and it's more true than false. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be, I wouldn't want to, that's a take I would not want to be on. Gerbil lives matter. Absolutely, gerbils matter. So if that be the case, if Costa Chameleon is thrown in jail for kicking gerbils, I want Costa Chameleon to be, get the full extent of the law. But I don't want Costa Chameleon to just sit in jail without being charged and not being given bond so they can at least work their job or take care of their family or properly help their lawyer with their case that they did not kick the gerbil. That's all I'm saying. Where do y'all get these from? The jail system is not as, and there is another point as well. We got you in jail, and these people are in jail prison terms. I mean, they're in jail. When you talk about people that have been in jail for 3 years, jail for 5 years, that's kind of wild. And they haven't been prosecuted. That's the other point. I'm not saying that they're in jail just waiting and they know that they're going to be, their court date is July 4th, 2024. No, we're talking about people that are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs waiting. Some countries do not have the constitutional safeguards that the U.S. has, and people are deemed guilty until proven innocent. It's likely that way where Ricky lives. That's fine. I'm stateside. Thankfully, we live here in the United States, and we're still innocent until proven otherwise. So therefore, that's where I'm attacked. Now, if they took this whole case and moved it to another country, then we'd have to deal with it from that other country. But since we're here stateside, I'm going to go with you're innocent of kicking the gerbil until you've been proven that you kicked the gerbil. That's it. That's it. No other way around it. It's called due process, Pure Blood says. Who knew that society was breaking down because of gerbils? Oh, the humanity. Willie Doc, it's too early in the morning, man. Oh, yikes. Sherry Daniels makes a great point. The January 6th people have been treated like excrement without bond. There you go. They have been found guilty without even a shred of due process. I agree. I like this. I'm going to put this back up here. It's called due process. That's it. Oh, no. Shara got me. Oh, y'all, Shara is one of our West Coast Avengers. And she does not like when I call an Avengers meeting too early in the morning. So she's always complaining about the West Coast Avengers having to wake up too early. I'm sorry, Shara, but I am going to do a late night one this week. So how about that? So I'll stay up late for y'all. Pure Blood. Are we talking about Richard Gere? I'm confused. Okay, I use very basic, comical, even examples, Pure Blood, because I don't want to get caught in the mix. So one, YouTube, if you use certain words, YouTube will come down on you and they'll go as far as to cut your whole live stream off if you use the wrong words. Okay. But then even in that, I don't want to make light of something that's really a serious issue. So I don't want to use terms because I'm being hyperbolic. I'm being a little bit comical, and I don't want to make light of somebody and say something about something that might really truly have gone on. Like, for example, Willie Doc, he might really still be upset about, little Sally breaking his heart in kindergarten. And I don't want to make fun of that. I don't want to make fun of Willie Doc because he's my guy. And I don't want to make fun of him. So I use hyperbolic statements because I don't want to hurt Willie Doc's heart and cause him to, duress or anything like that. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you for stopping by. I thank you for stopping by, man. Appreciate you. All right. I find no reason to disagree with this statement. I can't find a way. H. Warner Lombard, I have no reason to disagree with this statement. He just says the J6 detainees need to be able to sue the DC system and government for illegal detention. I don't know. There's no reason to disagree. I mean, that's true. I agree with you. Oh, she was in first grade, Willie Doc? Okay, there we go. The love of his life from first grade. I'm going to call your wife and tell her. All right. But, so that's why I do that. I try to keep it as generic as possible just so we can have a good time talking about it without getting into the tall weeds of somebody's, Willie Doc's heartbreak or whatever like that, because we don't want to do that. We don't want to make fun of Willie Doc's heartbreak. Or that's why I'll say something like, you didn't pay your third grade library fines. Oh, and by the way, I'm a former classroom teacher. So a lot of my bad comedy comes from trying to keep 6 and 7 year olds laughing throughout the day. So there's another level to my comedy as well. I'm used to telling bad jokes to elementary school kids. I personally believe that they should be able to sue. And I think when the smoke clears, I think and information comes out, I hope that they're able to sue because it is ludicrous. But we can have that discussion for sure. All right. Good morning, Nakia. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yes, sue. I mean, there's levels to this because we're looking at like 3 years, maybe. How long? Some of these people have been in jail for 3 years, and again, or prison or wherever they're at. We don't know, but I do think that they should be able to get some kind of recourse through the legal system properly. And the bad thing is it'll probably, if Trump is elected, and once the smoke clears, they'll probably just throw open all the information, let it all hang out, and it's going to be a wild ride. This is a wonderful question Shantae asked. Are there any statistics on the efficiency of Fani's office when it comes to prosecutions? I think that's a wonderful question. And I've not actually looked into that. Thank you. Now, I've joked about the fact that she brags that she has a 95% conviction rate, which in my opinion is not necessarily saying that the right thing has happened. But I think that's a great question. I am going to look into that because I don't know, but I would love to find out. So I want to look into that because I think that would be, I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know this. Hold on. I can make corrections to comments? Get out of Dodge. I can make corrections to comments? Hold on, let me put your comment back up here. Oh, no, it didn't let me change it. It let me change it on my screen, but it doesn't show up on yours. That's wild. Okay. Yeah, some of them have been overturned. That's a great question. You got me thinking now. Shantae is coming in with the questions this morning. I think Shantae is bringing the questions this morning. That's a great question too. I don't know. Well, you know what? As soon as Hollywood stops using C-19 for why their movies are failing, I think then it will be over. I heard literally today is May 1st. I want to say it was like Monday. Somebody was still using C-19 for why a particular movie that came out in 2024 didn't do well. So once Hollywood stops doing it, I think then it'll truly be over. Okay, let's see. Good commentary. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, there's a lot of there were now hear me, pure blood. There were backlog cases here in Georgia because of C-19. The problem is the funds that came in to deal with said backlog should have been used to hire contract attorneys and prosecutors to move this backlog through the system as soon as possible. The problem is that that money was used toward other things like Nathan Wade and other shenanigans. Therein is the problem. They didn't hire, I want to say that she was supposed to hire, don't quote me on this, like 55 attorneys? 55. She hired one. Come on, man. Make that make sense. Maybe not one, but let's just say she hired 10. Still, she could have hired 55 attorneys to deal with the backlog of cases from C-19, but she didn't, and therein is the problem. Oh yeah, they're still using that as an excuse for why movies are failing. Not that they're, don't get me started talking about movies. Do not get me started. I will not talk about them. I'm not. I am tired of the Rona excuse and everything for, excuse for everything from the fools. Absolutely. Hollywood can't accept that putting out horrible movies and people do not want to go to be preached at about social justice themes. They want to escape reality and be entertained. That's it. It's the misappropriation of funds. Pure Blood says that's my problem. But see, that's where the whole Jim Jordan case comes in. That's where, I mean, there's a lot of cases where they're looking at where's this money going, and there you go. And Guacamole Kid says they've gotten so deep into PC, I think you mean political correctness, that they can't write an honest script anymore. That's true. You know what? I'm going to push back slightly. I said I wasn't going to talk about this. It's not just that they can't write a good script. They could write a script that has all of its PC bona fides in it. The problem is they're no longer creative. So they've bought so heavily into an ideology that they almost have tunnel vision. They can't see and be creative. Most people like movies and comic books and that kind of stuff because it's creative and it's fantasy and it exposes you to a whole new world of just whatever. And that being the case, I tune into this show. I go pay my money for this ticket. I go to the comic book store because I really want something creative and something new. I really don't want to see a character that I've grown fond of become something else that he isn't, or something else that she isn't. So therefore, that's where I argue that they're no longer creative, because the woke ideology is a cancer. It is a virus. It is a parasite. And it doesn't allow you, because it doesn't create life. It doesn't bring and expand life. It actually constricts and narrows it. So therefore, because of it, you have characters like, again, I told you I wasn't going to do this, but here we are. They now have taken, let me use two of my favorites, Batman and Spider-Man. I was raised on Spider-Man. I'm a Batman fan today. Now, they've taken those two characters, and basically what they have said is that Peter Parker is the only valid superhero in the Manhattan, New York area. Bruce Wayne is the only valid character that can defend Gotham City. And they're both white men. So therefore, because Peter Parker is the only valid Spider-Man, then we have to turn Peter Parker into Peter Darker, Miles Morales. Or we have to take Batman and do all kinds of craziness with Batman, because we can't imagine anybody else being in Gotham, being in New York besides Peter Parker and Bruce Wayne. But there's thousands of other superheroes. There are literally thousands of other superheroes and anti-heroes that they could use, but they can't think like that because they're no longer thinking creatively. They're thinking myopically. I got to check these particular boxes of the woke ideology. That's the problem. I'm here for all the smoke. If you got issues, concerns, or questions, dearwokec@gmail.com. All right, let me see what else I got here. Oh, yeah, the creativity but see, watch this. I think creativity to challenge Ashanti. I think creativity and originality has left Hollywood. It has left the big comic book creators. It has left a lot of the major mainstreams, but it has not left the independents. It has not left the independents. And therefore, there is a lot of space because everybody's looking up at these big creators, and they're not creators anymore. They're just propagandists. But that means that there's room for a independent comic book to write a street level detective comic from the Gotham about Gotham City and bring Batman back to Earth. Same thing with Peter Parker. Same thing with Supes. Same thing with Wonder Woman, or fill in the blanks. There's countless others that you can do great content with and bring them back to Earth and back to a semblance of creativity. In my opinion, there's a whole open field, again, that you can be creative. And you don't even have to do Disney and Marvel and DC Comics. You can just create your own and have a ball just creating your own content that you find value in and the audience will find edifying and want to encourage you in. You can do that and leave all those other guys to just flounder. That's it. All right. Oh, wait. Forge and Anvil in the building. What's going on? Good to see you. Are you going to send me some messages on Rumble? Okay. I don't know if I've seen any. Let me check real quick. I don't see any, so I don't know if it's working. I know it's streaming to Rumble, but I don't know if the comments show up on my my comment screen here. A servant's heart, absolutely. She asked, wasn't Nathan Wade hired by his prior employer to investigate deaths in the jails? Not only in the jails, in Fulton County jails. There you go. So yeah, you are correct. Pure Blood said they ruined all action heroes. Peter Darker. Did you like that? I picked that up from Eric July. I gotta give him a shout out for that. See, this is it right here. I like H. Warner Lombard. Grace and peace. Thank you for joining us. I like this. Amen. Reading an outside play used to teach us to be creative. We don't emphasize imagination, which leads to creativity. There you go. Yeah, and they are ruined. You are 100% correct. Wade lives in Cobb County, but he was hired. He was looking into the Fulton County Jail. That was the jail that he was looking into, the Fulton County Jail, the one that we are currently talking about. Oh my goodness, love America. Come on. Wokeness enslaves those who adhere to its ideology. Come on. That's it right there. That's going to get the comment of the day. You're going to have to get the comment of the day. I don't know how to make it the comment of the day, but that's just what it is. Absolutely. That's why I don't play the game. And you know what? And in Christ, I don't have to. I can be at peace with somebody who has less melanin. I can be at peace with somebody who has entirely too much melanin. I don't have to look at them any old kind of way. And guess what? I can be at peace with that. They don't have that peace. Therein is the problem. Oh, they started doing too much before in the comics, though. Ashanti says, I had to let go of Marvel after Endgame. They started doing too much. They was doing too much in the comics before then. And a lot of people let them go before then. Well, thank you, Guacamole Kid. Hey, at the end of the show, after I get done with the cleaning the traps, things can go real left real quick. Yes, please. If you do find that I'm wrong, dearwokec@gmail.com, please make sure that you email management. Will that be you, Jason? What do you mean? I am not. I'm assuming you mean comic book writer. Okay, I like writing, and I'm an avid reader. Matter of fact, I'm reading The Duties of Christian Fellowship from my reading a book a week right now. It never did come in focus, Jason. Ah, there you go. Duties of Christian Fellowship, and it just explains the purpose and reason for the church. Another writing on the purpose of the church. That being the case, no, I enjoy supporting people, Nakia. I enjoy watching people that have an idea. They have a vision to start a recording studio. They have a vision to start a car wash. They have a vision to start a daycare. And they really grind it out and they really work hard to make it happen. I enjoy supporting that. I enjoy seeing that happen and such like that. So that's why. And this is my creative expression. YouTube is my creative expression. But so I don't think I'll be making any comic books or writing anything for public consumption anytime soon. But who knows? Oh my goodness. Here's another, man, look, when I tell y'all this is the best live chat on the planet, I just want y'all to know I'm not making that up. You all prove it with every time somebody types in a message. Look what Vincent said. That's because the devil cannot create anything. God never gave him that power. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's why the woke ideology doesn't make you better. It doesn't. It makes you hate people. It makes you hate folk. What's going on, Nurse Janet from the UK? Good to see you. Oh, we're just causing trouble over here. We're just cleaning the traps and causing trouble. Chaos, Guacamole Kid says. The only thing the devil creates is chaos. Shara says, I need a white AV to the 7th on with me. You know what? Hey, I've never been really good at bringing guests on using Ecamm. Let me iron out some of my problems with that. Because the other day, if you all watched my Critical Race Theory Bingo episode where Joshua came on, let me tell you, I'm glad Joshua came on early. That's all I'm going to say. So we was in the back in the green room trying to figure that out. We was making a lot of mistakes. So once I get it ironed out, I wouldn't mind having somebody come on a regular basis. That's fun. Look at this. Look at Love America coming in here trying to just run over. Look, y'all put Love America in the chat. Let's just go and put Love America in the chat. That's it. Everybody, let's just put Love America in the chat. Let's let them know we appreciate them. And then I'll read the comment. Love America says as following. There is no freedom in woke ideology. We can actually stop right there. Woke creators are forced to write, act in certain ways to be accepted. Come on. Good gracious. Good. That's what I'm telling y'all. This is the best live chat on the block. I don't care. Fight me. Meet me outside. All right. They probably won't link. So I'm using Ecamm now, Forge and Anvil. I'll give you a shot when I get done. Atlanta is the new Gotham City. You know what? That's crazy. So Gotham City was written, Gotham City is supposed to be an avatar for New York City. And you hear people call it New York, Gotham every now and then. I've never thought about Atlanta being Gotham, and it's very possible. I think Atlanta isn't as grimy as New York, but it's fighting its way. It's fighting to the top for sure. Really? Okay. Will you send me Jeremy Carl's information, Forge and Anvil? I'd be happy to talk with him. That'd be fun. Okay, so Nakia does see your comments on Rumble. Okay, I don't see. Let me jump into Rumble real quick. I am over here causing all kinds of trouble. I appreciate y'all this morning. Thank you so very much for not only chiming in, but giving me some insight. I like when you all give me that kind of insight. It helps out a lot. All right, let me look over here on the Rumble. I am not the best, especially, if you are proficient in Rumble. Okay, there's a whole stream of conversation going on over here that I have not seen. Oh, no. Okay, I see you leaving comments, but I don't think they're showing up on YouTube proper. All right. I don't think it's showing up. Okay, I'm gonna work on that. So good. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. That's just showing me something else I need to work on when I get an opportunity. So I do appreciate that. Entirely too much melanin. Absolutely. So I'm loading them up on Rumble. So I do have that lifeboat. I have not gone like, there's a lot of people that are really going hard in the paint in Rumble. And I think it's getting better. I think Rumble is getting better. Let me give them credit. So hopefully they'll get much better, and then we can we'll have a true other option for that. Thank you so much, Josh. I appreciate it, man. GodIsADesigner.org, I think. GIAD.org. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank y'all so much, man. I've checked out a lot of your content, Nurse Janice. I would love to support you, and please, leadership and positivity in nursing. I don't know much about nursing, but hey, I would definitely support good content for sure. No, Ricky, you can't do that, bro. I'm not gonna let you get a slide on that. I'm not gonna get you a pass on that one, my guy. And I try my best to be gracious. I try my best to be kind, but that's not even fair. So me saying that something is woke, if you can show me hating on somebody, then you got me dead to rights. Otherwise, you gotta be quiet, my guy, because you're doing the most now. So let's stop. Saying something is wrong is different than saying that I hate somebody. So let's not even play that. Let's not play that. That's not a good look, guy. It's not a good look. All right. Oh, I like how you did that, Vincent. I like how you did it. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for shouting out Love America. I appreciate these comments. As I always say, man, y'all comments are always encouraging, always edifying. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, I'm trying to diversify. Kind of like I have my Buy Me a Coffee page. I also have a YouTube members page. I have Twitter, but I'm also on Gab. I'm on Instagram, but I still even use Threads. I don't put much on Threads anymore. But I just try to spread out my content so that it's not landlocked to just one platform at any given time. That's my little 2 cents, though. That's my approach. Yeah, follow me on Rumble. Absolutely. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate it. I really wasn't thinking about that, but I appreciate it. It looks better on Rumble. Oh, now you got me going over there. Now I gotta go check out my guy. I mean, I can kind of see what you're saying. I think it's definitely okay. It does look a little better, actually. I don't know why. I don't know why it does look different. You're right. Well, thank you so much, Shar. I have no idea. Wait, I wasn't a crazy teacher? I had some crazy students, but I didn't do it. Trust me, I didn't make them crazy. I didn't do it. It's not my fault, I promise you. Oh, well, thank you, Tawanda. I appreciate the compliment. Thank you so much. So, but yeah, man, that is it. I just wanted us to hear Mesha Mainor's. I hope you have an opportunity to listen to the whole press conference, and hopefully the whole thing will be published. Because yesterday I watched the whole thing, but then I woke up this morning to download it, and most of it was missing. The end part of it was missing. But anyway, I do hope that it was encouraging for you all, and just give you kind of update on what's going on here in these traps, here in these YouTube streets. And today is Wednesday. I do have a recording at my studio. I got a client coming in at 11, so I need to kind of meander my way on over there. I do have an engineer now that helps with the recording, but I want to make sure everything goes right. So I'm gonna go over, meander my way in there, look over his shoulder and ask questions. But we have that going on. And tomorrow is Thursday. I think we're all good. I will let you all know. I think I might do a live stream tomorrow night, but we'll see what happens with President Firstborn and Chief Executive Secondborn. And that is everything. Let us call this game let's call this game. What does a servant say right here? It is crazy how some black folks call white people racist when they're racist against other black people when they don't fit their stereotypes of black people. Whew. That right there is like bingo. That's like some critical race theory bingo right there. But you're 100% correct. It's ironic that we don't see our own problems. It's amazing. But good call, good call. We'll end it like this. Shara Davis, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, everybody. I appreciate each and every one of you. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace. Take care.